Hello everyone. Today we'll be discussing the foundational question: why think in English? Imagine you're at an international conference. You meet someone who doesn't speak your native language, but you need to communicate effectively and instantly. In moments like these, thinking directly in English can be a huge change. It's not about knowing the language, it's about thinking in it naturally and fluently. By the end of this lecture, you will discover straightforward and practical techniques to help you start thinking in English, recognize common obstacles and how to overcome them, learn practical strategies to start thinking in English. The benefits of thinking in English. Before we get started, let me ask you a quick question. Have you ever found yourself translating from your native language to English in your head? Yes, you're not alone. Most language learners do this. But today, we're going to explore why thinking directly in English can transform your language skills and make you a more confident communicator. Let's start with why. Why should you bother thinking in English? The answer lies in efficiency and fluency. Efficiency. When you think in your native language and then translate, you're essentially doing double the work. This process slows you down and can make any conversation feel disjointed. When you think directly in English, you streamline your thought process, which makes communication smoother and faster. Fluency. Thinking in English helps you internalize the language. It makes you more likely to recall words and phrases naturally without the need for translation. This leads to more fluent and natural speech. Let me share a story. I once had a student named Maria from Brazil. She was brilliant but struggled with speaking English fluently because she translated everything in her head. After she started practicing thinking in English, her fluency improved dramatically. She felt more confident and started participating more in class discussions. Maria's experience shows how powerful this approach can be. Of course, switching to thinking in English isn't without its challenges. Let's discuss some common obstacles and how to tackle them. Vocabulary gap. You might not know certain words in English. When this happens, don't panic. Use similar words or phrases to express your thought. The goal is to keep thinking in English even if it's not perfect. Fear of mistakes. Many students worry about making mistakes. Think about how children learn their first language. They make lots of mistakes, but they keep going. Think of learning English like learning to ride a bike. At first, you might fall and feel unsure, but the more you practice, the more balanced and confident you become. The same goes for thinking in English. Sometimes cultural nuance can make direct translation tricky, but by thinking in English, you'll start to understand these nuances better. Try to immerse yourself in English media. Watch movies, read books, and listen to music. This exposure helps you grasp the cultural context and idiomatic expressions. Assignment for you. Label at least 10 objects in your home with their English name. Use sticky notes or any other method you prefer. For further reading, I recommend Fluent Forever by Gabrielle Weiner. It offers fantastic insights and techniques for thinking in new language. I'm looking forward to seeing how you progress. The more you practice, the easier it becomes. See you in our next lecture. Hello everyone, picture this. You're on a vacation in a beautiful foreign country, ready to explore, and you want to ask a local for direction. But instead of confidently speaking, you're stuck in your head, translating every word. Frustrating, right? Today, we're discussing this exact problem, the challenges of translating in your head and how to break free from it. By the end of this lecture, you will be able to understand why translating in your head slows you down. See the real-world impact it has on your communication. Learn strategies to minimize reliance on translation. The mental gymnastics of translation. First, let's talk about the mental gymnastics you're doing when you translate. Imagine your brain is a busy switchboard operator frantically connecting lines. You hear something in your native language, dissect it, find the English equivalent, and then try to put it all back together. By the time you're done, the conversation has moved on, leaving you in the dust. Consider pop culture. Remember how in Friends, Ross tries to speak Spanish to impress a date, but he's clearly translating in his head and ends up a confused mess. Classic example of how translating can trip you up. Translating word for word isn't just slow, it's also inaccurate. Languages are like iceberg. The words you see on the surface hide deeper meanings and cultural context underneath. Take the Japanese concept of wabi-sabi. It's about finding beauty in imperfection, something that doesn't translate into English. Or think about how we use idiom. If someone says it's raining cats and dogs, translating that literally would be bizarre, right? You'd miss the whole point. Let's bring in a bit of history. Think about someone like Albert Einstein. When he moved to the US, he had to give lectures in English. Do you think he was translating his brilliant theories from German in his head? No way! He practiced until he could think in English, allowing his ideas to flow naturally. Now let's get into cognitive load. Your brain has limited bandwidth. When you're using most of it to translate, you've got less for actually engaging in the conversation. It's like trying to run multiple heavy apps on an old computer. Everything slows down and might crash. High cognitive load also ramps up anxiety. You're constantly worried about making mistakes, and that stress, it's a fluency killer. Think about it like this. When you're driving, do you think about every single move? Now I press the gas, now I turn the wheel. No, you just drive. That's what we want for your English. We want it to be second nature, not a series of calculated steps. Alright, here's your mission for the week. Start journaling in English. Write about your day, your dreams, your random thought. Pay attention to when you're tempted to translate and push through it. Also, find a language buddy or join a conversation group. Practicing with real people is gold. Translating in your head is a common hurdle, but it's one you can overcome with practice and patience. The goal is to make English second nature, so you can think, speak, dream, and even argue in it seamlessly. Keep practicing, stay positive, and soon enough, you'll be navigating conversations with the ease of a native speaker. Hello everyone. Imagine you're sitting in a cafe, casually chatting with a friend, and not once do you need to pause and translate in your head. Sounds like a dream, right? Well, today we're going to explore how thinking directly in English can turn your dream into your reality and supercharge your fluency. Let's get started. By the end of today's lecture, you will be able to understand the key benefits of thinking in English. Learn how these benefits contribute to greater fluency. Discover practical tips to start thinking in English. When you think in English, you eliminate the need to translate, which speeds up your thought process. Imagine you're at a job interview and the interviewer asks you about your strengths. If you're translating, you might hesitate, creating an awkward pause. But if you're thinking in English, your response flows naturally and confidently. Think about how athletes perform under pressure. They don't have time to think about every single move. They rely on muscle memory. Similarly, thinking in English creates a kind of language muscle memory, allowing you to respond quickly and accurately. Thinking in English helps you understand the language in its natural context. You start to grasp idioms, slangs, and cultural references more intuitively. For instance, if you think in English, phrases like kick the bucket or spill the beans make sense instantly, without the need for literal translation. I had a friend who struggled with English idioms. He used to translate them word for word, which often led to confusion. But once she started thinking in English, these idiomatic expressions clicked for her. She told me it was like light bulb went off in her head. When you think in English, you start to internalize the rhythm and sound of the language. This leads to better pronunciation and more natural intonation. Instead of sounding like you're reading from a script, you will sound like you're genuinely conversing. Consider a musician learning a new song. At first, they might play it note by note, but with practice, they feel the music and play it with emotion. Thinking in English lets you feel the language, making your speech more expressive and engaging. Fluency isn't about knowing words and grammar. It's about confidence. When you think in English, you become more comfortable using the language in various situations. This confidence boosts your willingness to speak even if you make mistakes. Now here is an assignment for you. Create a list of new vocabulary words you encountered during your daily activities, media immersion, or journaling. Include definitions and example sentences for each word. Thinking in English is one of the most important aspects in developing fluency. It speeds up your responses, improves your comprehension, enhances your pronunciation, and boosts your confidence. It's like switching from driving a manual car to an automatic. You can focus on the road ahead instead of shifting gears. Hello everyone. Have you ever stopped to wonder how you think? I mean, really think about your thinking. Imagine if you could peek inside your own mind like a scientist examining a complex machine. What would you discover? Today, we're going to do just that. We'll learn about thought processes and understand how this self-awareness can boost your ability to think in English and enhance your overall learning. By the end of this lecture, you will be able to gain insight into how thought processes work, understand the importance of self-awareness in thinking, recognize your unique thinking pattern and how they impact your learning process. Our thought processes are like the internal dialogue we have with ourselves. It's how we process information, make decisions, learn things, and solve problems. The inner monologue is influenced by our experiences, emotions, memories, and environment. Understanding this can help to identify patterns and habits in your thinking. Think about when you solve a math problem. Some people visualize the numbers, others might use their fingers or write things down. These different approaches reflect your unique thought process. Being self-aware means recognizing your thoughts and understanding how they influence your actions. When you're aware of your thinking patterns, you can identify what helps or hinders your learning process. This is necessary for language learning because it allows you to adopt strategies that work best for you. A student, Jake, struggled with grammar and it made him hate even the thought of school. He realized that he learned best through visual aids and storytelling. After understanding his thought process, he started creating comic strips to practice grammar rules. His grades improved dramatically and he enjoyed learning more. Metacognition is thinking about thinking. It's being aware of your cognitive processes and regulating them. This involves planning how to approach a learning task, monitoring comprehension, and evaluating the outcomes. In simple terms, it's like having a coach in your head, guiding you through your learning journey. Imagine you're playing a video game and you have a map showing where you are and where you need to go. Metacognition is like that map. It helps you navigate your thoughts and learning strategies effectively. Understanding and harnessing your thought processes can significantly boost your English fluency. Here's how. Reflect on your learning styles. Are you a visual learner, an auditory learner, or a kinesthetic learner? Tailor your English practice to suit your style. For example, if you're a visual learner, use flashcards and mind maps. If you're an auditory learner, listen to podcasts and repeat what you hear. Use self-questioning techniques. Ask yourself questions while learning. Do I understand this concept? How can I apply this in a conversation? This helps reinforce your understanding and identify areas that need more practice. This week, I want you to practice self-questioning during your English learning sessions. Before starting, ask yourself what you already know about the topic and what you aim to learn. During the session, question your understanding by asking, do I really understand this? How can I use this knowledge in a conversation? At the end of each session, reflect on what strategies work best and where you can improve. For further reading, check out Mindset, The New Psychology of Success by Carol. It's an excellent book that talks about how your mindset influences your learning and success. Hello everyone, I hope you're all doing well today. Let's kick things off with a quick thought experiment. Imagine you're on a bustling street in London or New York. You see the vibrant city life, hear the chatter of people around you, and the signs are all in English. Now imagine, you're not just seeing and hearing it all in English, but your thoughts are naturally flowing in English too. This seamless integration of language and thought is what we're aiming for today. How amazing would it be to navigate an English-speaking world with ease and confidence? By the end of this lecture, you will be able to grasp the significance of thinking in English for achieving fluency, learn simple and practical techniques to start thinking in English, gain confidence to practice these techniques in your daily life. One of the simplest ways to start thinking in English is to label your surroundings. Grab some sticky notes and write the English name of objects around your house: door, mirror, refrigerator, and so on. Every time you see these objects, say their names in English. This constant reinforcement helps cement these words into your mind. Imagine you're brushing your teeth. Instead of thinking in your own language, you think, I'm brushing my teeth. This shift in language happens naturally over time with practice. We all have that little voice in our heads narrating our life. Start practicing your inner monologue in English. When you're getting dressed, think, what should I wear today? When you're cooking, think, I need to chop the onions. I had a friend who started narrating her daily routine in English. She told me that even mundane tasks like grocery shopping became opportunities to practice. She'd walk through the aisles thinking, I need apples, milk, potatoes, and bread. Visualize different scenarios and practice what you would say in English. For instance, if you're planning to go to a restaurant, imagine how would you order your meal, ask for recommendations, or even compliment the chef. Think of this like preparing for a play. Actors rehearse their lines over and over to ensure they can deliver them naturally during their performance. Similarly, by visualizing and practicing conversations in your mind, you'll be ready when the real situation arises. Immerse yourself in English media. Watch movies, listen to music, read books, or follow English-speaking influencers on social media. Pay attention to how words and phrases are used in different contexts. This not only improves your vocabulary, but also helps you think in English by mimicking the patterns you observe. If you're a fan of TV shows, try watching them without subtitles. At first, it might be challenging, but gradually, you'll start understanding the context and phrases without needing a translation. Find a language partner or join a language exchange group. Speaking with others in English forces you to think in the language on the spot. It's one of the most effective ways to improve fluency. A colleague of mine, Alex, joined an English conversation club. At first, he was nervous and often stumbled over his words. But with time, he found that thinking and speaking in English becomes second nature. The real-time practice was invaluable. Now here's an assignment for you. Pick an English movie or TV show to watch this week without subtitles. Try to summarize the plot afterwards in your journal. Thinking in English might seem daunting at first, but with these simple techniques, you'll find it becoming a part of your daily routine. The goal isn't perfection, it's progress. Embrace the mistakes and keep practicing. You've got this. Hello everyone. Have you ever noticed how effortlessly children pick up new languages? They don't study grammar, rules, or vocabulary lists. They simply absorb the language from their environment. Imagine if you could do the same with English. Today, we're going to explore how you can create an immersive English environment to enhance your learning and make English a natural part of your life. By the end of this lecture, you will be able to understand the benefits of an immersive language environment, learn practical strategies to create an English-rich environment at home, gain tips on integrating English into your daily routine seamlessly. Let's start with why immersion is so powerful. An immersive environment replicates the natural language learning process, providing constant exposure to the language. This continuous integration helps you think, write, speak, and understand English more intuitively, just like native speakers. One of the easiest ways to immerse yourself is through English media. Watch English movies, TV shows, and YouTube channels. Listen to English podcasts and music. Read English books, articles, and blogs. If you are a fan of a particular genre, like mystery novels or sci-fi movies, start consuming content in English within that genre. This way, you're engaging with the material you already enjoy, making the learning process more enjoyable and less of a chore. Set your phone, computer, and other devices to English. The small change ensures that you encounter English words and phrases throughout your day, reinforcing your learning passively. Think of it like living in an English-speaking country. Everywhere you look, from road signs to menus, everything is in English. Changing your device settings create a similar effect, constantly exposing you to the language. Engage with English-speaking communities, both online and offline. Join forums, social media groups, or local clubs where English is the primary language. James joined an online gaming community where everyone communicated in English. Over time, his vocabulary and conversational skills improved significantly, all while playing games and having fun. Whenever possible, practice speaking with native English speakers. This can be through language exchange programs, travel, or even using language exchange apps. Apps like Tandem and HelloTalk connect you with native speakers who want to learn your language. It's a win-win situation. You help them and they help you, all while practicing real-life conversations. Incorporate English into your daily routine. Dedicate specific times for reading, writing, listening, and speaking in English. Now, here are some tips for you. For your morning routine, start your day by reading an English news article or listen to an English podcast. Commute. If you commute to work or school, use that time to listen to English audiobooks or practice speaking. And for your evening routine, before bed, write a short journal entry in English about your day. Now, here's an assignment for you. Create a daily English challenge jar. Write down different English activities on slips of paper. For example, describe your day in English. Listen to an English podcast. Write a story in English. Draw one each day and complete the challenge. For further reading, I recommend The Bilingual Edge by Kendall King and Allison. It offers great insight into language immersion and practical tips for language learners. Creating an immersive English environment doesn't require a plane ticket or a move to another country. With these strategies, you can surround yourself with English in your everyday life, accelerating your fluency and making the learning process enjoyable. The more you expose yourself to English, the more natural it will become. Thank you for your attention today. Let's open the floor to any questions or thoughts you might have. Hey everyone, picture this. You wake up one morning and without even thinking, your mind starts rolling in English. Wouldn't that be amazing? Today, I'm going to show you how to turn that dream into a reality with simple daily habits. It's not magic. It's about making English a natural part of your day, every day. By the end of this lecture, you will be able to understand why daily habits are game changers for language learning. Learn specific habits that will help you think in English effortlessly. Discover how to weave these habits into your routine seamlessly. Let's kick things off with why daily habits are so powerful. Think about brushing your teeth. Do you even think about it anymore? Probably not. It's automatic. That's what we want for your English. When habits become automatic, they require less effort and become a natural part of your life. Start your day with a burst of English. It could be reading an English news article, listening to an English podcast, or doing a quick language exercise on Duolingo. This primes your brain to think in English from the moment you wake up. Set aside 10 minutes each morning to read a short article from BBC News or watch a clip from TED Talks. You'll start the day with fresh ideas and new vocabulary. Plus, you'll feel pretty accomplished before you even have your coffee. Get that inner voice speaking English. Practice narrating your actions and thoughts in English throughout the day. It might feel weird at first, but trust me, it's effective. I had a student named Carlos who started narrating his morning routine in English. I'm making coffee, I'm brushing my teeth, and after a week he told me it felt like his brain was switching to English automatically. It's a small change with a huge impact. Whenever you can, switch your daily tasks to English. Write your grocery list, set reminders, or even think about your to-dos in English. Instead of jotting down comprar latte on your grocery list, write buy milk. It reinforces vocabulary related to your daily activities and makes thinking in English second nature. Find chances to speak English every day. Use language exchange apps, chat with friends, or even talk to yourself. The more you practice, the more natural it will become. Joseph, another student of mine, found a language partner online. They chatted for just 10 minutes each evening. This consistent practice worked wonders for his speaking skills and helped him think more naturally in English. Here's an assignment for you. Write your daily to-do list in English for the next 1 week. For further reading, I recommend Atomic Habits by James Clear. It's not specifically about language learning, but it offers excellent insight into how small, consistent habits can lead to significant changes over time. Integrating English into your daily habits doesn't require drastic changes. Make these habits a natural part of your day, and soon thinking in English will become second nature. Hello everyone. Imagine this. You're at a bustling market in a foreign country. You see vibrant fruits, hear vendors shouting, and smell delicious street food. Now, instead of feeling lost, you instantly know the words of everything you see and hear in English. Sounds incredible, right? Today, we're going to explore how you can use visualization and associations to make this a reality and boost your English learning in a fun and memorable way. By the end of this lecture, you will be able to understand the power of visualization and associations in language learning. Learn techniques to create vivid mental images and connections for English vocabulary. Discover practical ways to integrate these techniques into your daily study routine. Let's start with why visualization and associations are so powerful. Our brains are wired to remember images and connections more easily than abstract words. When you link new English words to vivid images or familiar concepts, you can recall them faster and with greater accuracy. When you learn a new word, create a mental picture of it. The more detailed and vivid the image, the better. This helps anchor the word in your memory. Take the word apple. Instead of just repeating apple in your head, visualize a bright red apple. Imagine its crunch as you bite into it, the sweet taste, and even the smell. The multi-sensory approach makes a word stick in your mind. Create short stories using new vocabulary. Stories provide context, making it easier to remember the words and their meaning. I had a student named Anna who struggled with remembering the word bicycle. So we created a story. Anna rode her red bicycle to the park, where she met her friend Jack, who was playing soccer. This simple narrative helped her remember bicycle and related words like park and soccer because they were part of a memorable scene. Link new words to concepts or words you already know. This associative technique builds a network of related words in your brain, making recall easier. Think of your brain like a spider web. Each word is a point, and the connections between these are strands. The more connections you make, the stronger and more extensive your web becomes. For example, connect the word book with library, read, story, and author. Use flashcards with pictures, mind maps, and diagrams. Visual aids can significantly enhance your ability to remember and use new vocabulary. When learning the word sunflower, find and draw a picture of a sunflower. On a flashcard, write the word on one side and place the picture on the other. This visual connection reinforces the word each time you see the image. Create mnemonic devices or memory aids to help recall difficult words. These can be acronyms, rhymes, or associations with familiar objects or ideas. To remember the word desert, a dry, sandy place, you might think of desert equals S, which equals sand. Creating a simple, catchy rhyme or phrase can help the word stick. Now here's an assignment for you. Write a short story using at least 5 new English words. Make it as imaginative and detailed as possible. Hello everyone. Imagine you're sitting in a quiet park, fully immersed in a book, completely aware of each word you read and every thought that crosses your mind. Now, what if you could harness that level of focus and awareness in your English learning? Today, we're going to explore the transformative power of mindfulness and awareness in language learning. By the end of this lecture, you will be able to understand the benefits of mindfulness and awareness in learning English. Learn practical mindfulness techniques to enhance your language learning. Discover ways to incorporate these techniques into your daily routine. Let's start with why mindfulness and awareness are so important. Mindfulness is about being fully present and engaged in the moment. When applied to language learning, it means giving your full attention to the words you're learning, the sounds you're hearing, and the sentences you're forming. This deep focus can significantly improve your retention and understanding. Practice mindful listening by fully concentrating on the English audios you're consuming, whether it's a podcast, music, or a conversation. Pay attention to the pronunciation, intonation, and the rhythm of the language. Find TED Talk on a topic that interests you. Listen to it without multitasking. Focus on the speaker's words, how they use pauses, their tone, and how they convey their message. Try to visualize the scenarios they describe. This deep listening helps improve both comprehension and pronunciation. When reading in English, practice focused reading by taking your time to understand each sentence. Don't rush through the text. Instead, pause to reflect on the meaning and visualize what you're reading. When I first started learning French, I struggled with reading comprehension. So I decided to try focused reading. I picked up a novel and read it slowly, imagining the scenes in my mind and making notes about new words. Over time, my comprehension improved dramatically, and I began to enjoy reading in French. This technique made reading not only a learning exercise, but also a pleasure. Before speaking in English, take a moment to gather your thoughts. Think about what you want to say and how you want to say it. Speak slowly and clearly, paying attention to your words and their impact. Think of it like a chef preparing a meal. They don't just throw ingredients together. They carefully plan and prepare each dish. Similarly, by taking a moment to gather your thoughts before speaking, you can communicate more effectively and confidently. Incorporate reflective writing into your practice by journaling in English. Reflect on your day, your thoughts, and your language learning progress. This not only improves your writing skills but also helps you process your learning experience. I keep a journal where I spend 10 minutes each evening writing about my day. I reflect on new words I learned, conversations I had, and the challenges I faced. This habit has been incredibly helpful in reinforcing my language and tracking my progress. Plus, it gives me a moment of calm and reflection at the end of each day. Before starting your English practice, take a few deep breaths to calm your mind and focus your attention. This simple exercise can help reduce anxiety and improve concentration. I often felt anxious before speaking in Spanish. I decided to try deep breathing exercises before my practice sessions. Just a few minutes of mindful breathing made me feel calmer and more focused, greatly improving my speaking confidence. It was like pressing a reset button, allowing me to approach my practice with a clear mind. Now here's an assignment for you. Take a 15-minute walk while narrating your surroundings in English. Describe what you see, hear, and feel. This exercise combines physical activity with mindful language practice. For further reading, I recommend The Miracle of Mindfulness by Thich Nhat Hanh. It's not specifically about language learning, but it offers valuable insight into the practice of mindfulness that can be applied to any area of life. Mindfulness and awareness can transform your English learning experience, making it more effective and enjoyable. The key is to be present and fully engaged in your practice. Thank you for your attention today. Let's open the floor to any questions or thoughts you might have. Hello everyone. Imagine you're in a bustling cafe, effortlessly ordering your favorite drink in English without a second thought. Or you're at a grocery store, navigating through your shopping list in English as naturally as you would in your native language. How liberating that would be, right? Today, we're discussing strategies to help you think in English, making it a seamless part of your everyday life. By the end of today's lecture, you will be able to recognize the importance of thinking in English for everyday fluency, discover practical techniques to facilitate English thinking in various daily scenarios, feel confident to integrate these techniques into your everyday life. Thinking in English is essential for developing fluency. It reduces the time needed for mental translation, helps you think faster, and makes your communication more natural. Plus, it allows you to catch nuance and cultural differences that might be lost in translation. Break down your day into categories and think in English about each one. For example, categorize your activities into work, meals, exercises, and relaxation. While preparing your breakfast, think, I need 2 eggs, a slice of bread, and some butter. At work, consider your tasks. I need to send that email, or let's start the meeting. This segmentation helps you practice thinking in English throughout different parts of your day. Place visual prompts around your environment to remind you to think in English. These could be sticky notes with phrases or questions in English placed on your fridge or mirror. I once placed sticky notes with questions like, what are your plans for today? And how do you feel right now? Around my apartment. So every time I saw one, I answered it in English. This constant engagement helped me maintain an English thought process throughout the day. Spend a few minutes each day reflecting on your experiences in English. This could be done through journaling or simply thinking about your day before bed. Imagine your mind as a garden. Regular self-reflection is like watering the plants, helping your thoughts grow and develop in English. Reflecting in English consolidates your learning and makes the language more personal and meaningful. Set specific goals for practicing English each day. This could be learning a new word, using a new phrase, or having a conversation in English. Set a goal to learn 5 new words related to your hobby and use them in a sentence. If you love cooking, learn the English terms for different cooking techniques and ingredients. Then practice using them while you cook. Immerse yourself in environments where English is spoken. Join clubs, attend events, or participate in online forums where English is the primary language. I joined an international book club where we discussed books in English. Engaging with native speakers and other learners not only improved my language skills but also gave me confidence to think and express myself in English. When you're out and about, take a few moments to observe your surroundings and describe them in English. This helps you build a mental library of English vocabulary related to everyday objects and scenarios. While waiting for the bus, describe the scene in your mind. The bus stop is crowded. People are chatting. The bus is approaching slowly. This practice keeps your mind engaged in English. Before engaging in a common activity, mentally rehearse it in English. Whether it's ordering food, shopping, or asking for directions, go through the conversation in your mind in English. Think of it like athletes visualizing their performance before a major game. You're preparing yourself for real-life interactions by mentally rehearsing everyday scenarios in English. Now here's an assignment for you. Whenever you catch yourself thinking in your native language, switch to English. Keep a log of how often you do this each day. Thinking in English for everyday situations is a powerful step towards fluency. Start small, be confident, and watch as your ability to think in English grows. Hello everyone. Imagine presenting a research paper in English or leading a team meeting at work. all without hesitating over words or phrases. How empowering would it be to navigate academic and professional environments seamlessly in English? Today, we're going to explore strategies to help you think in English, specifically for academic and professional context. By the end of today's lecture, you will be able to understand the importance of thinking in English for academic and professional success. Learn practical techniques to improve English thinking in academic and professional scenarios. Feel confident to apply these techniques in your studies and your career. Thinking in English is essential for thriving in academic and professional settings. It enhances your ability to communicate effectively, understand complex materials, present effectively, and engage with international colleagues or scholars. This skill can open doors to global opportunities and collaborations. Practice writing reports, emails, articles, and presentations in English. Focus on clarity, conciseness, and professional tone. I once had to write a detailed project proposal in English. After drafting it multiple times and seeking feedback, I not only improved my writing skills but also gained confidence in presenting my ideas professionally. Practice giving presentations in English, whether it's for a class project, a conference, tutorials, or team meeting. Focus on clear articulation, professional vocabulary, confident body language, and engaging delivery. Think of public speaking like playing a musical instrument. The more you practice, the more natural and confident you become. Rehearse your presentation multiple times and seek feedback from your peers to improve. Attend all sorts of academic conferences, professional seminars, training workshops, and networking events. Engage in conversations with professionals and scholars in English, discussing topics relevant to your field. At a recent tech conference, I made it a point to network with international attendees. I was able to expand my professional network and sharpen my industry-specific vocabulary by discussing current trends and exchanging ideas in English. Collaborate with classmates or colleagues on projects or study groups. Discussing ideas and solving problems together in English reinforces your language skills in an academic or professional setting. Think of peer collaborations as a team sport. Each member contributes their strengths and together you achieve better results. Regularly collaborating in English helps you learn from others and apply your language skills in practical scenarios. Now here's an assignment for you. Choose a complex topic or project and create a mind map in English, organizing your thoughts and seeing connections between different aspects. For further reading, I recommend English for Academic Research, Writing Exercises by Adrian Wallwork. It offers practical exercises and tips to improve your academic writing and thinking in English. Start incorporating these practices into your daily routine and watch as your ability to think in English grows. Thank you for your attention today. Let's open the floor to any questions or thoughts you might have. Hey everyone, imagine you're at a party and for once you're effortlessly chatting with new friends in English. No more translating in your head or feeling anxious about what to say next. Sounds great, right? Today, we're going to explore how to think in English during social interactions and casual conversations. By the end of today's lecture, you will be able to recognize the role of English thinking in enhancing your social fluency, become an expert in specific techniques to seamlessly integrate English into casual conversations, build self-assurance in using English spontaneously in various social settings. Social interactions are a significant part of everyday life. Being able to think in English during these moments helps you communicate more naturally and builds your confidence. It also allows you to understand and use idiomatic expressions, slangs, metaphors, and cultural references that are common in casual conversations. Choose a theme of your day and try to think and talk about it in English. Themes can be anything from food, memes, movies, or travel to more specific topics like your favorite book or a recent news event. If your theme for the day is travel, think about places you'd like to visit. Describe past trips in English and ask friends about their travel experiences. This focused approach helps you build vocabulary and think in English around specific subjects. Set aside specific times each day where you consciously think only in English. This could be during your commute, while resting, while exercising, or even while doing chores. During my evening runs, I dedicate that time to thinking exclusively in English. I'd plan my next day and even mentally compose emails. This practice made thinking in English a habit, significantly improving my fluency over time. Prepare a list of conversation starters in English that you can use in various social settings. These can include questions about hobbies, interesting facts, opinions on current events, or thoughts on popular culture. Questions like, what's your favorite way to spend a weekend? Or have you watched any good movies lately? Are great ways to initiate and sustain conversations. Having these starters ready reduces the anxiety of thinking on the spot. Take short breaks during your day to immerse yourself in English. Watch a short movie, read an article, read the news, or even scroll through social media in English for 5 to 10 minutes. Think of these immersion breaks like snack breaks for your brain. Just as a snack can give you quick energy boost, these short bursts of English help keep your language skills sharp and engaged throughout the day. Here's an assignment for you. Attend a social event and observe how native speakers interact. Take notes and try to incorporate what you learn into your own conversations. For further reading, I recommend Small Talk: How to Start a Conversation, Truly Connect with Others, and Make a Killer First Impression by Diane Weston. It's a great resource for improving your conversational skills in English. Hello everyone. Let me take you back to a time when I was at an international conference, surrounded by brilliant minds from all over the world. We were deep into a heated discussion about the future of artificial intelligence, throwing around complex theories and abstract concepts. In that moment, I realized how exhilarating it was to navigate such sophisticated topics confidently, all in English. How amazing would it be if you could do the same? By the end of today's lecture, you will be able to comprehend the significance of thinking in English for handling complex and abstract concepts. Learn practical techniques to enhance your abstract thinking and problem-solving skills in English. Start discussing and analyzing sophisticated topics in English. Being able to think in English enables you to articulate your thoughts clearly, helps in professional growth, engage in high-level discussions, and contribute meaningfully to global conversations. Engage in critical reading by analyzing and summarizing complex texts in English. Focus on understanding the author's arguments, identifying key points, and reflecting on their implications. When I first started reading philosophical texts in English, I struggled to grasp the abstract ideas. I began summarizing each paragraph in my own words, noting down the main arguments and reflecting on their meaning. This practice not only improved my comprehension, but also helped me think critically in English. Use Socratic questioning to deepen your understanding of abstract concepts. This involves asking and answering questions to stimulate critical thinking and illuminate ideas. Think of Socratic questioning like peeling an onion. With each layer of questioning, you get closer to the core of the idea. For example, if you're discussing ethics, you might start with what is ethics? And then ask, why is ethics important? And how do ethical principles apply in real life scenarios? Participate in debates on complex topics. This forces you to think on your feet, use impactful vocabulary, articulate your thoughts clearly, and consider different perspectives, all in English. Join a debate club or an online forum where complex issues are discussed. Engaging in debates about topics like climate change, artificial intelligence, or global economics will challenge you to think critically and express your ideas effectively in English. Engage in problem-solving tasks that require critical thinking and abstract reasoning. This could include puzzles, riddles, strategic games, or case studies in your field. Think of your brain as a muscle. Problem-solving tasks are like workouts that strengthen your critical thinking and abstract reasoning skills. For instance, working on complex math problems or strategic games like chess can sharpen your ability to think abstractly in English. Now here's an assignment for you. Write an essay or reflection on an abstract topic. Focus on organizing your thoughts and developing clear arguments. For further reading, I recommend Thinking Fast and Slow by Daniel. It offers deep insights into the process of thinking and decision making, which are necessary for handling complex ideas and abstract thinking. Handling complex ideas and abstract thinking in English is a powerful skill that can enhance your academic and professional success. Start incorporating these practices into your daily routine and watch as your ability to think critically and abstractly in English grows. Hello everyone. Picture this. You're in the middle of an important conversation in English and suddenly your mind goes blank. You find yourself reverting to your native language, feeling stuck and frustrated? Well, we have been there. Today, we're going to explore strategies to help you navigate these moments and stay immersed in English. By the end of this lecture, you will be able to understand common reasons why you might revert to your native language. Use practical strategies to overcome these moments and stay immersed in English. Become capable of handling situations where you feel stuck in your native language. Before we actually get into the strategies, let's understand why this happens. Reverting to your native language often occurs due to lack of vocabulary, not knowing the right words in English, nervousness or anxiety. Feeling stressed can make you fall back on a familiar language. Habitual thinking. Long-standing habits of thinking in your native language. Complex topics. Difficult subjects might push you to revert to your native language. When you feel stuck, take a moment to pause and breathe. This helps calm your nerves and gives you a moment to collect your thoughts. If you can't find the exact word or phrase, simplify your language. Use basic words and structures to convey your message. Once, while explaining a technical concept, I couldn't recall the specific terminology. I broke down the idea into simpler terms, saying it's like a big toolbox with many different tools, which effectively communicated my point without complex jargon. When you're stuck, try paraphrasing. Restate the idea in a different way using words you already know. Think of paraphrasing like finding an alternate route when your usual path is blocked. If you can't recall exhausted, you might say very tired. This keeps the conversation moving forward. Nonverbal communication can help fill in gaps when you are stuck. Use gestures, facial expressions, and body language to support your words. While discussing a recipe, I forgot the word whisk. Instead, I mimicked the action with my hand and said, "You know, the thing you use to mix." The gesture helped my friend understand immediately. When you're searching for words, use fillers like, you know, or let me think, to give yourself time to find the right expression. Fillers are like a bridge that helps you transition smoothly when you encounter gaps. They buy you a few seconds to gather your thoughts without losing the listener's attention. I joined a weekly language exchange group. Regular conversations with native speakers not only improved my fluency, but also built my confidence in handling unexpected situations in English. Now here's an assignment for you. In your next English conversation, if you get stuck, ask your partner for the word or phrase you need. Note how this interaction goes. Getting stuck in your native language during English conversations can be frustrating. But with these strategies, you can navigate those moments smoothly and stay immersed in English. Hello everyone. Let me share a personal story. A few months ago, I was watching my favorite movie on Netflix, fully immersed in the plot. About halfway through, I realized something astonishing. The subtitles were off, and I hadn't even noticed. I was understanding everything in English without any help. This realization was a huge milestone in my language learning journey, and it made me think about how to track such progress and set new goals. Today, we're going to explore innovative ways to measure your progress and set advanced goals to keep challenging yourself. By the end of today's lecture, you will be able to understand the importance of measuring progress in language learning, learn effective and unique methods for tracking English proficiency, discover how to set advanced, achievable goals to continue your growth. Measuring progress is a significant part of language learning because it helps you see how far you've come and identify areas for improvement. It keeps you motivated and ensures that you are continually moving forward in your language learning journey. Create a progress portfolio where you collect samples of your work over time. Include essays, recording of your speaking, articles, poems, and summaries of books or articles you've read. I started a progress portfolio when I was learning French. Every month, I'd record a short speech, write an essay, and summarize an article. Reviewing these over time made my progress visible and provided a tangible sense of achievement. Form a study group or partnership where you regularly review each other's work and provide constructive feedback. This peer interaction can offer new perspectives and insights into your progress. In my language exchange group, we set up monthly peer review sessions. We'd write essays or prepare presentations, then critique each other's work. This collaborative approach helped identify blind spots and inspired new learning strategies. Create digital storytelling projects where you narrate a story or present a topic using multimedia tools. This combines language skills with creativity and technology. I created a digital story about my travels using images and short clips with a narration in English. This project not only improved my language skills but also helped me practice using English in a creative and engaging way. Conduct a comprehensive self-evaluation every 6 months, assessing your skills across reading, writing, speaking, and listening. Reflect on your strengths, weaknesses, and progress. Think of self-evaluation as a personal performance review. It's an honest look at where you stand and where you need to work on, helping you set realistic and achievable goals for the future. Start a blog where you regularly write about your language learning journey, topics of interest, or current events in English. Blogging provides consistent practice and tracks your improvement over time. Now, here's an assignment for you. Set a challenge for yourself, like giving a public speech or writing a research paper in English. For further reading, I recommend Fluent Forever: How to Learn Any Language Fast and Never Forget It by Gabrielle Weiner. It offers practical tips and strategies for mastering a new language and tracking your progress. Managing your progress and setting advanced goals are essential steps in your language learning journey. Start incorporating these practices into your routine and watch as you achieve your language learning goals. Alright everyone, hands up if you've ever binge watched a Netflix series, scrolled through endless memes on social media, or even accidentally gotten stuck into a YouTube rabbit hole. Yeah, me too. But what if I told you that all that time spent glued to your screens wasn't just mindless entertainment? What if it was actually a powerful tool for boosting your English skills? Today, we're ditching the textbooks and exploring how to use media to not only learn English but to think in English. Get ready to transform your Netflix binges into brain-boosting exercises. By the end of today's lecture, you will understand the importance of active engagement with English media. Use media as a tool for language learning. Active engagement with English media is important because it helps you improve comprehension and retention, enhance critical thinking skills, build vocabulary and understanding of idiomatic expressions, make language learning enjoyable and relevant to real-life contexts. While watching a TV show or a movie, pause at key moments and predict what will happen next. This engages your brain and enhances your understanding of plot development and character motivations. While watching a mystery show, pause before the detective reveals the culprit and try to guess who it might be, based on the clues provided. Discuss your predictions with a friend or write them down to see how accurate you were. After watching, reading, or listening to English media, summarize the content in your own words. This helps reinforce what you have learned and improves your ability to recall and articulate information. When I started listening to English podcasts, I made it a habit to summarize each episode in a journal. This practice not only improved my listening skills, but also helped me remember key points and vocabulary. Reflect on the underlying themes and messages of the content. Consider how they relate to your own experiences or current events. This deepens your engagement and critical thinking skills. After reading a novel, reflect on its themes, such as friendship, love, betrayal, or resilience. Write a short essay or journal entry about how these themes relate to your own life or society. Use interactive media like language learning apps, quizzes, and games that require active participation. These tools often incorporate real-life contexts and scenarios, making learning more dynamic. I used an interactive app that turned language learning into a game, complete with challenges and rewards. The interactive nature kept me engaged and made learning new vocabulary fun and memorable. Create projects based on the media you consume. This could be a presentation, a video review, or a creative piece, like a story or a poem inspired by the content. Think of creating projects like a chef experimenting with new recipes. By creating something original based on what you've consumed, you're applying what you have learned in a practical and a creative way. For instance, after watching a documentary, create a short video summarizing the key points and your thoughts. Maintain a log of the media you consume, noting down new vocabulary, expressions, and insights. Regularly review your log to reinforce your learning and track your progress. I kept a media log while binge watching an English TV series. I noted down interesting phrases, cultural references, and new words. Reviewing the log regularly helped me incorporate these elements into my own language use. Now, here's an assignment for you. Listen to a TED Talk or a podcast and focus on the speaker's pronunciation and intonation. Mimic their style to improve your speaking skills. For further reading, I recommend The Art of Watching Films by Boggs and Petrie. It offers insights into critically engaging with visual media, which can enhance your language learning experience. Engaging with English media actively is a powerful way to enhance your language skills. Use these techniques to make your English practice more immersive and effective. Hello everyone. Let me share a turning point in my English learning journey. There I was on a trek, surrounded by native English speakers. I wanted to join the conversation, but my thoughts were jumbled, stuck in translation. It was in that moment of frustration that I realized I needed a breakthrough. I needed to think in English naturally, just like I did in my native language. Today, I'm going to share with you the interactive exercises that transformed my English thinking. By the end of this lecture, you should be able to understand the benefits of interactive exercises for strengthening English thinking. Learn a variety of interactive exercises to practice English thinking. Use these exercises to enhance your language skills. Role-playing different scenarios helps you practice thinking and responding in English. This can include everyday situations like ordering food, job interviews, small talk, or asking for directions. Pair up with a friend and take turns being the customer and the waiter at a restaurant. Practice using polite phrases, making requests, and handling any issues that arise. This exercise builds conversational skills and quick thinking. Start a story and have each participant add a sentence to continue it. This collaborative exercise encourages creative thinking and vocabulary usage. I often use story completion with my language exchange group. We start with a simple sentence like, once upon a time, in a small village, and each person adds to the story. This not only makes for a fun activity, but also helps in practicing sentence structure and storytelling. Play word association games to build vocabulary and quick thinking. One person says a word and the next person says the first word that comes to mind, continuing the chain. Start with a word like travel. The next person might say airplane, followed by pilot, and so on. This game is great for expanding vocabulary and making connections between words. Describe a picture in detail. This exercise helps with vocabulary, descriptive language, and thinking in English. I once used picture descriptions in a class where students described scenes from their favorite movies. It was fascinating to hear the variety of vocabulary and expressions used, and it significantly improved their descriptive abilities. In a storytelling relay, one person starts a story and after a few sentences passes it on to the next person to continue. This exercise builds creativity and helps you think in English. Start a story with a sentence like, "It was dark and stormy night," and pass it around your group. Each person adds to the story, creating a collaborative and imaginative narrative. Now here is an assignment for you. Write a story with the group to build quick thinking and conversational skills in a fun and engaging way. For further reading, I recommend The Practice of English Language Teaching by Jeremy. It offers valuable insights and techniques for effective language teaching and learning. Interactive exercises are a powerful way to strengthen your ability to think in English. Start practicing these exercises regularly and watch as your confidence and fluency in English grows. Hello everyone. Once someone asked me a question in English and I froze. My mind raced to translate, but the conversation had already moved on. It was then I realized I needed to think and respond in English in real time, without hesitation. Today, I'll share techniques that transformed my English fluency. By the end of today's lecture, you should be able to understand the importance of real-time conversation practice, learn techniques to improve your ability to think and respond quickly in English, engage in spontaneous conversations. Shadowing involves listening to a native speaker and repeating what they say in real time. This helps improve pronunciation and intonation. Listen to the radio or watch a video, and as the speaker talks, try to repeat their words simultaneously. Focus on matching their speed and tone. This exercise trains your brain to think and respond quickly in English. Practice responding to common questions and prompts quickly. This helps you to get used to thinking on your feet. I used quick response drills to prepare for casual conversations. My friend would ask me random questions like, "What's your favorite book?" or "What did you do last weekend?" And I had to respond immediately. Over time, this practice helped me become more confident and spontaneous in my responses. Participate in improv games, where you have to create spontaneous dialogues and scenarios. These games enhance quick thinking and creativity. I joined an improv group where we played games like Yes and, where you build on each other's statements. This not only improved my English skills but made me more adaptable and quick thinking in conversations. Now, here's an assignment for you. Choose a topic like, "Is technology making us more isolated?" and set a timer for 1 minute. Present your argument and then listen to your partner's counter-argument. This exercise sharpens your critical thinking and quick response skills. Real-time conversation practice is essential for developing fluency and confidence in English. You can make thinking and responding in English second nature through these tips. Start practicing regularly and watch as your conversational skills and confidence grows. Thank you for joining me on this